it's Maria from Still Dreaming Homestead. And yesterday I began feeling like doing things again. So it was Sunday. So I went outside and I was able to give a little sugar water to my bees. I just put it in some little trays on the top of their hive because it has been so cold. And I want to make sure that they are able to survive this winter. They appear to be doing really good. I'm super happy. And then I knew that I needed to water in my greenhouse. It had been quite a while. And we had some rain coming in today, actually last night, and I wanted to do it before then, of course. So I went ahead and attached my garden hose to go out there. Well, right next to the greenhouse, touching it, in fact, and then touching the garden beds around it, the raised beds around it, I put a large, one of those hard plastic kiddie pools to catch rainwater. That way, when I did not want to attach the hose, I could bail it with a little bucket and water in my greenhouse. That's worked really well. But I wanted to give it a really deep watering. And I've injured my right wrist, I believe, when I fell over my dog. And so, doing buckets is not really going to work for me. So I watered in there, and it appears that everything has survived despite really low nightly temperatures that we've had pretty steady for a week and a half, probably in the lower 20s. And that's pretty good for tropicals to be surviving. So I watered those, and then I did some reconfiguration on the extra protection I have for them inside. I drug in another piece of that corrugated plastic, and where the back of the garden bed had been the only one that had it right in the garden bed, that extra dose of plastic. There had been one on the opposite side of the greenhouse, and I'm sure that helped, but just putting the cover cloth on my plants was kind of smashing them, and that's not what I was hoping to do. So I drug in that other piece of plastic, and I got that in the front of that garden bed. So now it's completely encircled. It's kind of a U, not a U shape, oval shape actually. But I got it in there so that I could just put the cover cloth over the top of that, because that's probably 3 foot high at least. And then it won't be touching my plants and mashing them down. So I think that's going to work good, and it'll be easy to remove when I'm going to water them again. In fact, next time I'm going to fertilize them. Citrus are very heavy feeders. So when I was all done with that, I went ahead and I closed up the greenhouse, and I decided while I was out there, because we have not had any rain until last night. Last night we got about 1/5 of an inch in about 2 weeks. So it has been very, very dry. So I watered my blueberries and was really thankful to do that. And when I was all done, I went to step around, actually over that wading pool. I've done it many, many times with no problem. But this time there was a problem. My foot caught. And I think it's amazing how time can be so slow when you are falling. And so I was looking to see anything I could grab, but I could not grab the edge of that greenhouse. Number one, my right wrist is very weak and painful right now. And I just couldn't get my left hand to get a good grip on it. So I knew I was going to land in that pool, which was filled with very cold rainwater to the very top. So I just thought how cold this was going to be. And then there was a big splash, and I was in it. I did not get hurt. It was, shockingly cold, of course, for the first second, and then I knew I had to get out of there. So I did manage to get out, and I knew that I needed to get in and get warm, but I had to finish up a couple things. And I'm sure that many of you have had instances similar where you'd like to be taking care of yourself, but you had to finish something before you could. So I went in and shut the door in my chicken house so the chickens would be warm for the night. I've been leaving the little chicken door open so they can get out first thing in the morning, but closing the big door that I use. I did that, and then I went and turned off the water, and then I went inside, of course, and got a nice hot shower and changed clothes, and I felt good. So I was really so thankful I wasn't hurt. I've had a few falls lately, and it occurred to me that this one could have been really bad had it not been for the Lord just protecting me the way he did. He's so good to me all the time. If I had fallen in there and actually got hurt where I could not get out of it, I could have had hypothermia set in, especially if Jason was inside, because, he doesn't know when to go see if his mom's done some silly thing or not, because I'm always fine when I'm outside, but not so much this time. But I wasn't hurt, and I was able to get up, but it does make me think, what would I need to do in a worst case scenario? My voice does not carry very well. And a long time ago, when I fell out of the chicken house, which is a step up from the ground, actually about a step and a half, and I did that because it was rainy and it was cold. It was night at that point. Actually, it was dark, and it was just slick. And I just slipped, and I hit the back of my head that time hard on the threshold of the chicken house door. I actually saw stars, and I had to lay there for a minute because I had bounced my tailbone on the cement step that was below it. So it took a second, am I okay? Can I get up? And nobody was home that time. And so my neighbor had said that it might be a good idea to wear a whistle. That way, if I was in distress, I could blow that whistle, because they go outside very often for, a cigarette, and the whistle would be something that could catch their attention. Anyhow, I don't know what I'm going to do, other than I guess I just need to be more careful. So you be careful too. And we know things happen, and we know that we're okay the majority of the time. But when we're not, we just have to depend on God, use the mind that he's given us, and do what we can. He'll always cover us and do the rest. So I just want to say I'm fine. And I did my wrist a little bit more and my right ankle. My right ankle feels fine today though. My wrist, not quite as much, but it's healing and I'm thankful. And I'm thankful for you. So I want to pray blessing on you and yours, in your house, out of your house, in the day and the night. Whatever you do, keep dreaming.